Hello there guys and welcome back to the channel. So Kabam has updated the realm event, the Banquet realm event, Milestones, and just as we hit the final toted goal of having a 7-star Isophene, all of a sudden new milestones appear, and they do include 7-star rank up gem 2 to 3, a random one, more Titan Shards, and also the 7-star rare champion selector, which I actually kind of believe is a very crappy reward, because realistically none of these champions have any significant meaning to the game. I suppose Vision has the most chance to be useful at some point somewhere, but again, in order for that to happen, you need to have him awaken and super high sig. And even then, he's just drastically outdated by champions like Fam and whatnot. So I don't like this reward, but they did add it, and it is a trophy champion, and there's some more Titan Shards. So the question is obviously how far we will reach, and this has definitely caused a lot of mixed reactions in the community. Now let's get something clear. I by no means enjoy trashing Kabam, especially at times like this, and on a personal level, to me, it actually kind of came as a neat, nice surprise. Now, I, don't spend much on the game anymore. I'm definitely not in a whale territory, but, I do spend some, and I have hit the objectives because I did have a couple of sponsored bundles on the streams and stuff. So I have gotten my milestones, already invested the units, and I have had enough points put up to get these. So when I opened these, my kind of instant reaction was like, oh, neat. Maybe we're going to get something extra. However, that sentiment definitely is not shared by a significant portion of community, and this step has kind of been controversial. So I do want to speak up for them as well and break down why this displeases a lot of people in the game. Now, again, that said, I do think Kabam is kind of damned if they do, damned if they don't. Even when I think they are trying their best, there will be people who do, complain and find issues. And that is not to try and defend this realm event. This realm event and this Banquet event definitely has had fundamental issues in itself. And the two biggest problems with this event so far unequivocally have been, number one, the crystals. The superior Banquet crystals, who were advertised as a step up from years past, and that they will be, for higher progressions only, and will include items only, targeted for 7-star champions, no 6-star shards, no 6-star 6-stone, stuff like that. That is great. However, we're said about 50% of this crystal is going to be about a filler, and then 50% is going to be useful stuff. The problem here is 95% plus of the crystals that you open do feel bad and not worth it. And that is the biggest takeaway. Opening these crystals feels quite crap. It's not just the stuff that you get, even though most or half of the time you end up getting tier 6 basics, tier 6 class, tier 3 alpha, even tier 5 class catalyst crystals. All of those feel bad immediately. But I'm talking also when you open tier 4 alpha fragments. Getting 5,700 tier 4 alpha fragments from 300 units feels extremely, extremely, extremely bad, because you can go to the Glory store, for instance, and buy more for a couple hundred glory or a bit. Or you can go to the Battleground store and buy 2,800 2,500 fragments. Basically, you get 3,000 Battlegrounds tokens worth of tier 4 alpha. So it's not a lot. It's very bad. Similar to, getting 1,500 7-star shards. It doesn't feel like it's 300 units worth at all. Even when you get, quote-unquote, the good shards, the Titan shards, it certainly doesn't feel like 1,000 Titan shards is worth 300 units. And that's kind of the point. That is what kind of turns this crystal into a very crappy one. It's the amounts. Getting, 5,700 tier 4 alpha fragments, or getting 1,000 Titan shards, or getting 1 7-star 6-stone absolutely does not feel like it's worth 300 units. Now, on the flip side, obviously, when you go for the milestones and such, there's actually a lot of good value. In the Realm event, you know, we got a tier 3, tier 4 alphas, we got 1-2 gem, we got the key, there's like added 7-star crystals and 7-star nexus, there's like 7-star 6 stones, 7-star shards. Ultimately, when you add it all together, for 15k units, it's not a bad amount of value. But here comes the second issue. The big issue is that Kabam also increased, quote-unquote, the expected amount of units that you need to spend, and that kind of pulled the rug under the community. And I do think that is also exactly where majority of the complaints are coming from people who do not have or cannot hit the 15k unit milestone. Because previously, everything that was on table in the form of milestones and participation typically cost 8 to 10k units. Because of the point system was different, maybe because it gave you more units back throughout the event, and you didn't have a feeling like you're missing out on a base experience. Obviously, you never competed to the whales or anything like that, but you had the feeling that you got majority of the good stuff for 8 to 10k units, and now you don't anymore. This price has gone up significantly to 15k units plus, which is, again, a huge problem for people who did not expect that, are not ready to spend money, are free to play, and were budgeting, for instance, the 10k units for this event. And that's a lot of people who are kind of stuck in the middle, not only opening crystals that they think are underwhelming, because they are, also seeing that they are missing out on quite a bit of good stuff. Like the Glorious Guardians keys, like the Isophene dupe, like, you know, 7-star rank up materials or 7-star awakening gem. All that stuff's very important, and all that stuff has increased cost associated to it. Therefore, Kabam's both adjustments that they have made in this event are kind of missing the general grief that players have. Aside from the Banquet crystals themselves, general grief, you know, was that there's not enough in these milestones, for instance. So Kabam added 3 7-star crystals. But in order to get to them, you needed to commit, you know, significant amount of units. So if you were somebody who had, let's say, 8k units or 10k units in preparation to this event, you don't get anything extra. You're stuck with underwhelming crystals and relatively underwhelming milestones because, well, the bottom milestones are fairly poor, and you're missing out on all the good stuff. And now that Kabam adds extra milestones, this feeling is kind of amplified, feeling like you're going to miss out on, let's say, another rank 3. Now, again, I don't think what Kabam did is bad. I think it's good. I think that gives portion of the player base more rewards for what they already have done or would be willing to do. Ultimately, on the surface level, that is good for that player base, which, you know, I consist of as well. And again, my first reaction to this was like, hey, neat. It's not, you know, bad. I'm glad to see that we could potentially get some extra goodies if we hit the milestone, and happy to see that. At the same time, throughout this entire event, I feel like Kabam making their adjustments have ironically made the situation more painful to the player base who are not able to put up the 15k units. And that is where the problem started. I think if Kabam had just, you know, instead of done anything else, like added, let's say, extra units in the middle milestones, to kind of help push everybody up, that would generically have been better solution in itself. And I think that that's basically what Kabam should have done. I think they should have just put in some units somewhere in the middle milestones here, where it helps you push higher for effectively less units spent, or if you have already spent those units, then, you know, you can get some units back and the ultimate cost of the event would have gone down, which I kind of feel like, again, aside from the underwhelming superior Banquet crystals, has been the main gripe for people, the increased cost of it. And everything that they have done subsequently is just adding more stuff, but the cost has not gone down. Kabam's piling up, and let's say theoretically, you know, the whales push us past all of these milestones, and Kabam adds even more. Let's say, like, you know, there's Titan, Nexus Titan for each milestone. And the whales are hailed as heroes for all of the people who have gotten up that high, but for people who can't, you know, it's just gonna feel even more crap because they're missing out on even more stuff. And that's what Kabam's doing here. Whilst this is gonna be a tragic statement, I think I grounded wisdom, which is, you know, if you have watched this channel, you know that I have no lost love for this guy, but honestly, I think the fundamental problem was the intention. It's good on paper to shift the rewards to event milestones in the realm event, but the vast majority of the players earn the rewards through the crystals, and the milestones are secondary, or only for those spending vast amounts of money. That changed the fundamental aspect of the event that most participated in. Kind of. I think the also increased point that the point that he doesn't miss is that it just requires a lot more units now. Because it's clear that this Banquet event hasn't been overly successful, and I think if this didn't cost the extra 5k units or extra 8k units, 7k units, it depends how you spend, and if there was more units back in the milestones, I think it would have went 10 times better. Because now, obviously, you know, community should not expect to get a crap ton just because for not investing anything. But again, Kabam randomly moved the benchmark, the base kind of like expectation of participation, and it caught people off guard. And, you know, extra 5k units is not something that you can just, you know, grind out in a week, or people were already kind of grinding towards the target, and let alone people having the motivation to do so because of underwhelming Banquet crystals. Makes me sad. Arguments for not having beefier super. Well, there you go. If the argument for not having beefier super bank crystals is it would be too overpowered for spenders, and why are there extra milestone rewards in the Banquet aimed for those that open loads of crystals, the rationale just makes me so disenfranchised with the game, and I do spend money on it. And that's kind of the point. And again, I do think that quite often Kabam is damned if they do, damned if they don't. But I think equally often, Kabam kind of lacks the hindsight or the ability to view their own game for their own players, or through the eyes of their own players. It often comes like with challenge content. Like I think aside from the first volume of Korean challenges, unequivocally the worst challenges designed for the community have also been by, you know, the most skilled members of the community, and Kabam just kind of let it through. You know, the previous CCP iteration of Korean challenges and everything else. But I do have to go now, so let me know what do you guys think about the Banquet event and the updated milestones, and I'll catch you guys soon. Bye bye. Hello there guys, and welcome back to the channel. So we have all been